Do you have an upcoming interview with McKinsey and don't know how to prepare for the McKinsey Personal Experience Interview? Or perhaps you don't know what is the best way to answer these questions? The McKinsey Personal Experience Interview, or PEI for short, is asked in almost every interview. You will not land a McKinsey offer unless you can adequately answer these questions. The good news is that these questions are very predictable and you can actually prepare the majority of your answer beforehand. With sufficient preparation, you can treat the McKinsey PEI as an easy win for you on interview day. In this video, we'll cover everything you need to know about the McKinsey PEI, including the exact 6 steps you should take to prepare for these questions and the perfect structure to use when giving your answer. Let's get started. What is the McKinsey Personal Experience Interview? The McKinsey Personal Experience Interview is used to assess a candidate's fit with the firm and evaluate their personal experiences, skills, and attributes. Candidates are asked to discuss situations that demonstrate leadership, problem-solving, teamwork, and entrepreneurial drive. Examples of McKinsey PEI questions include: give an example of a time when you led a team. Tell me about a time when you showed initiative. Describe a situation in which you handled conflict while working on a team. Tell me about a time when you had to change someone's mind. Talk about a setback that you had at work and what you did. The purpose of the PEI is to assess your ability to handle real-world situations and to gauge how you might perform as a consultant. You can think of the McKinsey PEI as a single behavioral question that takes up 10 to 15 minutes, which is a long time for a single question. Because your interviewer is only asking you one behavioral question, be prepared to dive deeper into your answer and story than in any other interview you've had. Expect to be asked several follow-up questions such as: why did you do the things that you did? How did you make this decision? What was going through your mind at that time? How did others react to this? What did you learn from this? When is the McKinsey PEI given? Almost every single McKinsey interviewer will ask you the McKinsey PEI question. The McKinsey PEI will be given either before the case interview or after the case interview is completed, and it will last between 10 to 15 minutes. Across all your McKinsey interview rounds, you may end up answering this question 4 to 5 times. That's between 40 to 75 minutes of interview time. Many candidates will spend hundreds of hours preparing for case interviews while only spending an hour preparing for McKinsey PEI questions. Therefore, by spending even a few hours preparing for PEI questions, you can give yourself a significant edge over the competition. What does the McKinsey PEI assess? The McKinsey PEI assesses 4 qualities: personal impact, entrepreneurial drive, problem-solving skills, and leadership abilities. All McKinsey PEI questions will touch upon one or a few of these different skills and attributes. How do we know this? McKinsey is very transparent on their website about the 4 qualities they look for in candidates. Personal impact. Have you made a significant and meaningful impact on other people, organizations, or the world? Entrepreneurial drive. Do you challenge the status quo? Do you aspire to develop new ideas, processes, or solutions to problems? Problem-solving skills. Do you have the skills to solve difficult, complex problems? How do you handle difficult situations or circumstances? Leadership abilities. Do you have the skills to lead yourself, your teams, and your community to drive results? Before we cover exactly how to prepare and answer the McKinsey PEI, please take a second and give this video a like. Make sure to also subscribe so that you don't miss any of our new consulting interview content. How to prepare for the McKinsey PEI. There are 6 steps to prepare for the McKinsey PEI. Step 1. Identify 6 to 8 different stories drawn upon your past professional and personal experiences. Select experiences that are the most impressive, impactful, or unique. Step 2. Ensure that these stories are collectively diverse. You don't want to have 8 stories all about leadership. Instead, have at least 1 story for each of the 4 categories of McKinsey PEI questions. Step 3. For each story, write out all of the details that you can remember about it. Try to be as specific as you can so that you don't miss any details. Who was involved? What happened? How did you feel or react? How did other people feel or react? Step 4. Practice telling your story clearly and confidently in front of a mirror or in front of an interview partner. You should get to the point where you can easily tell the story without struggling to remember the details. However, don't practice so much that you get to the point where you are sounding robotic. Step 5. Practice timing and pacing. Your stories should be no more than a few minutes. Remember, you don't need to tell every single detail because your McKinsey interviewer will likely ask for specific details that they are interested in. And step 6. During the McKinsey interview, when you're asked a PEI question, mentally run through your list of prepared stories and select the story that is the most relevant. You may need to slightly adapt, reframe, or tailor your story to ensure that it emphasizes and focuses on the quality that the interviewer is asking for. How to answer the McKinsey PEI question. Just as you would structure your approach and answer to case interviews, you should also structure your answer to PEI questions. You should use the SPAR method to structure your answer. SPAR stands for Summary, Problem, Action, and Result. This is a slightly adapted version of the classic STAR method to make your story more clear and concise. Summary. Provide a one-sentence summary of the story that you are about to tell the interviewer. This helps make the rest of your story and answer easier to follow because the interviewer already knows the what. They then can pay more attention to the how when you give your answer. Problem. Describe the problem you encountered or were asked to solve. Try to keep the section concise to spend more time on the action and results section. You may want to answer the following questions. What were you asked to do? What was the goal or objective? And why was this task important? Action. Explain what steps you took to handle the task or to meet the goal or objective. Make sure that the actions center around what you specifically did. Do not focus too much on speaking to what your team did because it might take away from your accomplishments. You may want to answer the following questions. What steps did you take? How did you take these steps? And why did you take these actions? Result. Describe the outcome that your actions had, quantifying the impact and effect you had on the organization. Additionally, you can describe your key takeaways from this experience and how it impacted or influenced you as a person. You may want to answer the following questions. Did you meet the goals or objectives? What was the outcome and impact of your actions? What did you learn from this experience? How did this experience help you grow and develop? McKinsey PEI tips. Here are 3 tips to help you best illustrate your qualities and accomplishments during the McKinsey PEI. Tip number 1. Focus on yourself and your impact. Oftentimes, candidates will speak on behalf of the team that they worked on and talk about what the team did using the word we. This takes away from your accomplishments because it makes it sound like the team did everything, not you. When answering the McKinsey PEI question, make sure that you are focusing on yourself and what you did using the word I. Make sure that you also explicitly state the impact of your work, not just what actions you took. Tip number 2, don't repeat answers. Don't repeat answers or stories for McKinsey PEI questions in the same interview round. You don't want interviewers to think that you don't have many impressive stories to share or that you are lazy. Tip number 3, know all of the details of your stories. Don't be surprised if your McKinsey interviewer frequently cuts you off while you are telling your story. They may aggressively press you for more details or ask several follow-up questions. So, make sure you are prepared to share all of the details of your stories. And with that, you now know everything you need to know about the McKinsey PEI. As the next step, you should start preparing and practicing the 6 to 8 stories that you plan on using to answer the PEI. While you are preparing for your McKinsey PEI, you should also be preparing for case interviews in parallel. You will need to ace every single case interview in order to land a McKinsey offer. If you're looking for a step-by-step shortcut to learn case interviews quickly, check out our comprehensive case interview course and books. Links are in the video description. We teach the most robust, effective case interview strategies in the least time-consuming way to save you hundreds of hours of prep time and help you land multiple consulting job offers.